All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jason Klink. I am with Schedule Express by Informer Systems, and I'm here to present to you our Schedule Express automated scheduling systems for public safety agencies. Just going to give you a quick overview of Schedule Express, and I'll be available for any questions afterwards. So I worked in public safety for the better part of 25 years. I was in the fire service for just about that amount of time and was a fire chief in 2005, 2006 in upstate New York. I worked at the Onondaga County 911 Center in Syracuse, New York for 19 of those years. And I became very familiar with Schedule Express. We used to do our scheduling for our staff in 3 different places with a pencil. And one of my first set of supervisor meetings after I got promoted, I kind of asked the question, why are we beating ourselves up in the 21st century doing our staff scheduling in 3 different places with a pencil and taking hours and hours to do it? That sparked more conversation, which sparked us looking for a public safety scheduling system, which turned into signing on with Schedule Express. So that's my background in public safety, and because of that experience with Schedule Express, I now work for the company. What I want to show you here is just a little background. Informer Systems, the company itself, was created in 1979, and Schedule Express was created in 2003. This entire time, the company has worked with and for public safety agencies. 99% of our client base and customer base is with public safety. One of the things that we've found working with public safety agencies over the last 17 years is that there's not a single agency that's doing the same thing as their neighbor next door. So that's why we custom create our scheduling systems for public safety. Our scheduling systems are web-based, they're cloud-based. It is a subscription-based system that's paid annually, but it's paid per user per month. So I wanted to give you just a quick run through here of Schedule Express. I logged in as an administrator. The administrator's name is Adam West. We get very creative with our characters for our sign-ons. But once you log into Schedule Express, you are given a certain role, which gives you certain permissions and restrictions within the system. Now, as an administrator with administrative rights, you get full access to the scheduling system. But that certain functions can be turned on or turned off. So if you are an employee or a user who just needs to, put in for time off or sign up for overtime, you get a very limited access within the system. So just to show you, this is the personal schedule that comes up once you log on. We have several drop downs here and several functions within Schedule Express. We have a trade sections for trades and swaps, where you can either create a trade. If you're a supervisor or manager, you can go in and ultimately view or approve or deny trades. Also for employees, they can go in and look at the virtual trade board to see if there's any swaps they wanted to work for another employee. We have an absence section where you can go in and create absence requests. You can go in and, as a supervisor, either approve or deny absences based on the information that's presented. There's an overtime section where employees can go in and see their overtime assignments or volunteer for overtime that may be available, or make themselves available for overtime that may come about over a period of time. Also, supervisors can go in and ultimately post, manage, and create overtime based on center need. There's a training section where you can assign training details. So if you have a new employee that's working with a trainer, you can actually designate that on the schedule for your agency. Also, you could do CPR training assignments or any other training that you might have come about for your center. Also, there is a special assignment section for anything outside of training. So if you have somebody that maybe is on call, or maybe they're working a detail, football game, something like that, that can be designated on the schedule. We have a My Reports section where we have a full cache of reports and a library of reports that you might need, from a duty assignment to daily staff schedule to overtime summaries and detailed overtime reports, as well as absence reports. And we can custom create reports based on your agency need. The schedule management, I will come back to the master schedule, but this is where the master or composite schedule is. There's also, as a supervisor or manager administrator, you can go in and create and view shift patterns. You can create and view coverage plans. Now, coverage plans and Schedule Express are the central process of the automated workflow process of Schedule Express. The coverage plans designate the minimum and maximum staffing that you need for your operations. And just give you an example, if you have an employee that calls out sick, you go in and create an absence for the employee. The system automatically checks the coverage plan for any coverage gaps, and then will recommend the fact that you have a coverage gap and recommend that you would need to create and post overtime to fill that coverage gap based on your coverage plan. But it goes from one transaction into complete coverage. So somebody calls out sick, you take them out sick, it shows a coverage gap, you create and post overtime, fill the overtime, and ultimately fill that coverage gap within your coverage plan. We also have duty assignments. Duty assignments are used for daily rosters. So if you create a daily roster for your agency, this is where duty assignments are created. My old agency, my old 911 center, we would every shift go in and not hand create, but we'd go on the computer and create a document that would be the duty roster for the next day. Well, by the time you came in for your next shift, because it wasn't automated or it wasn't created within Schedule Express, anybody that called in sick, they were crossed out. Anybody that was working overtime was filled in. And by the time you came in your next shift, it was chicken scratch. And with our duty assignments and the ability to create duty rosters, you're able to go in and plug and play. So if somebody calls out sick, it takes them out sick, and then you can plug in the person working overtime or move people around as you need to within the specific functions in your agency, functions or roles. We also have vacation and shift bidding. So with vacation bidding, we can create vacation bidding based on your rules. Everything in Schedule Express is based on the rules of the agency, and the rules go into even the collective bargaining agreements, and what's set up for staff management and the collective bargaining agreements can also be factored into overtime rules, vacation bidding rules, shift bidding rules, and so on. So we're able to create vacation bidding based on your rules. So maybe it's the most senior person gets the vacation list first, and what's typically is handed a packet of paper to pick their vacation time every October for the following year. This will send it out automatically through the system. They pick their allotted time for vacation and moves on to the next senior person, and so on. We also have the ability to create shift bidding, and shift bidding that happens usually annually or biannually for agencies. We can do it sequentially based on your rules, as far as maybe it's the most senior person that can bid first for shifts for the next year, or whatever way you set it up. Or we could send it out pooled to everyone in the center, and they can just at first come, first serve, or whatever way you would want to set that up. Now, over here on the right of the toolbar is the message board. This is the My Message section. This is a one-way message board. So if there's any changes or additions, subtractions, overtime assigned, absences approved to your personal schedule, it comes to the message board, so you're notified. We also have the ability to notify employees text message, email, and the mobile app of any changes or additions, subtractions to their schedule. So there's at least one way to notify the employees that there's been a change to their schedule, and they have to at least have turned on the message board. So you kind of almost eliminates the, well, I didn't know I was assigned that overtime. I didn't know my switch wasn't approved, or your trade or swap wasn't approved. It almost eliminates that problem from changes in the personal schedule for the employees. Anytime the employees hit My Schedule, it comes back to the personal schedule, and their profile information is here, as far as contact information, their roles, their position profile, and their function within the scheduling system. Now to jump into the composite schedule here. The composite schedule, or the master schedule, has a month view, it has a week view, and it has a day view. Now, when you come into the composite, the master schedule, it always shows you the month and year. If you're in the day schedule, it'll show you the date. You can almost limitlessly filter down the schedule. So say you're a day shift supervisor that just wants to see your employee schedules on the day shift. You could go in and filter it down, make it your default schedule, and you don't have to look at the entire center schedule and just manage your shift schedule on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. I tell shift supervisors and managers, you will spend a majority of your time managing the schedule on the week view or the day view. Now, within the month view, you'll notice that it's highlighted, shaded and unshaded based on the weeks of the month. You'll also see within each view, each tab, a color scheme down at the bottom. That's your coverage plan. So ultimately, you want to be clear or white. That means you're fully staffed for the entire 24-hour period. Red means that you have a coverage gap somewhere within that 24-hour period, and it can be multiple coverage gaps. But red means you're understaffed at some point in the 24-hour period. Yellow means you're overstaffed at some point in the 24-hour period. And orange means you're both under and overstaffed in the same 24-hour period. But given that color schemes gives you an indication as a supervisor or manager managing the schedule that you have items to address within your master schedule for any given period of time. The week schedule here will show you the employees, maybe their job category, and you can populate this by employee, you can populate it by job category, you can populate it by shift in that 24-hour period and see who's working. You can drill it down even further to the minute of the day of the week, and so on within Schedule Express. And show. So this would be a 24-hour period within this 911 center, the employees, their job category, maybe their hire date, but it'll show you the 24-hour period. Now the 24-hour period does not have to start at midnight. It can start at 0500, it can start at 0800 hours, whatever you need to see for your agency, we can start the 24-hour period at any point during the day. You will also see, the several shifts and shift patterns that are assigned here for the normal working hours. You'll see the training designations. You'll see people assigned to overtime and any absences within that 24-hour period. Schedule Express has no problems with overlapping shifts. And if there's overlapping shifts that go over the midnight hour, Schedule Express does not have a problem with overlapping shifts over the midnight hour, where some scheduling systems may have an issue where they'd have to stop it at like 11:59 and pick it up again at the midnight hour or 00 hours at the start of the new day. So with that, we also have the ability to create several locations. A lot of emergency communication centers work within like a sheriff's office or a police department. If the entire agency wants to be on the Schedule Express system for the agency, we can create locations either geographically or function wise. So, it can be communications with patrol, with records, with detectives, with administration, but we can create whatever locations would need to be created if the entire agency was using the Schedule Express system. With that, that was the basic overview of Schedule Express. I will open the floor now to any questions or anything you would like to see further.
That was quite succinct. You don't have anything like that for business, do you?
We might be able to create it. Engineers can get very creative. You never know. I will say that because of the given environment with the pandemic, social unrest, everything that's been thrown at emergency communications this year, public safety in general, a lot of agencies have had a lot of challenges when it comes to staff management, when it comes to managing schedules changing, because a lot of agencies had to go from 8 and 10-hour shifts to 12-hour shift. shift patterns to be able to separate employees, to be able to give enough time off, to avoid any issues from the pandemic affecting the operations of the Emergency Communications Center. And we're able to work with our customers and clients to be able to facilitate that if they're currently on a 12-hour shift because of the current environment, or they need to go to, or they need some kind of guidance and direction as far as changing, we're able to give that as well. But it all works in within the Schedule Express systems, given the current environment.
So who are some of your California agency customers now?
We have, let me see if I can think on the fly here. So we have Santa Monica PD, we have Santa Clara PD, I believe Records Division, San Mateo. Our very first customer was the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department and their 14 PSAPs back in 2003.
Wow.
Who else do we have in California? Hang on, let me bring that up real quick. Let's see here. Customer map. Where is my, bring up our PowerPoint that we use. It's a very good question. It's funny because any other time I could rattle them off my head, and I'm drawing a blank. And now our customers are all over the country. Some are very big, some are very small, everything in between. So we have customers that, we have a 911 center that's 8 persons that uses Schedule Express. And we have the 1,500 user Clark County Detention Center in Las Vegas that uses Schedule Express. They were very challenged with their staff scheduling before they came on to Schedule Express, and they now have cut down all the hours that they have that's required to manage their schedule significantly by using Schedule Express. So yeah, we have Santa Clara, we have San Mateo, we have Petaluma, we have Solano County, Hayward. What else we got here? Oh, let's see, Fairfield, Santa Cruz. So we have several. I would say out of our entire customer base, the majority of them are in California because the company is based out of San Mateo.
Well, it looks like you got a good smattering of all over the country. We
do. Yep. We have the Houston 911 Center, which is the 4th largest 911 center in the country. We have Boston 911. We have, let's see, we have Atlanta 911. We have quite a few 911 centers across the country. Any questions, anyone? Feel free to pick my brain.
If not, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and this will be posted on our website probably in about a week.
Okay.
On both the NAPCO and CPRA websites, there'll be links to a YouTube channel.
Awesome.